Let's start with amendment in chapter 11, that is accounts and records e-way bill. So point number 1, validity of e-way bill in case of multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship, rule 138.10 of CGST rules. So what is multimodal shipment? It is transportation of goods under single contract but performed with at least two different modes of transport. Okay, and over here they have said that in which at least one leg involves transport by ship, means if it involves suppose two modes of transport, then it should be like ship and train or ship and plane. In that way, at least one leg should be transport by ship. Now what they have said, rule 138.10 of CGST rules provides validity period of e-way bill for over dimensional cargo and for cases other than over dimensional cargo. The sub-rule 10 of Rule 138 has been amended to also provide the validity period of e-way bill for multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Thus, amended sub-rule 10 lays down as under. If the distance within country is up to 100 km, then validity period from relevant date, means validity period of e-way bill will be 1 day in cases other than over dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Okay, over dimensional cargo is you can say big cargo, but in case of other than over dimensional cargo, validity period is 1 day for distance up to 100 km, and for every 100 km part thereafter, one additional day in cases other than over dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Means suppose if it's 120 km, 150 km, then one additional day is added in validity period. Now up to 20 kilometers for in case 1 day in case of over dimensional cargo, big cargos or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. For every 20 kilometer part thereof, one additional day in case of over dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship. Okay, for every 20 kilometer, one additional day in case of over dimensional cargo. The sub-rule 10 has been further amended to lay down that the validity of the e-way bill can be extended within 8 hours from the time of its expiry. So, extension of time, the time extension that can be made within 8 hours from the time of expiry. Okay. Now, restriction on furnishing of information in Part A of Form GST e-way bill EWB 01. Now, the amendment, this first one was, this was not the new one. This was the old amendment notification dated 28/6/19, but this one, second one, this is the new amendment. See the notification date, it's dated 26 December 19, so it is applicable for November 20. This is the new one amendment. So in this amendment, what they are saying, restriction on furnishing of information part A. So by this amendment, they are putting restriction on the information that is furnished in part A of form GST EWB 01. So indirectly, indirectly they are putting restriction in generation of e-way bill, because if furnishing means if information is not furnished in part A, then information part B is also not furnished. And if information is not furnished in part B, then e-way bill will not be generated. So indirectly they are putting restriction on the generation of e-way bill. So what is said in this provision, that no person, including a consigner, consignee, transporter, an e-commerce operator or a courier agency, shall not be allowed to furnish the information in Part A of Form GST EWB 01 in respect of following registered person, whether as a supplier or a recipient. Whether as a supplier or a recipient. Point number 1 is a person paying tax under composition scheme or under notification number, this is dated 7th March 19, has not furnished the statement for payment of self-assessed tax for 2 consecutive quarters, or a person paying tax under regular scheme has not furnished the returns for 2 consecutive months, or a person paying tax under regular scheme has not furnished GSTR 1, that the statement of outward supplies for any 2 months or quarters as the case may be. So till now what they have explained, they have said that no person, means suppose if any in part A we all know that in part A consignor and consignee details are furnished, and in part B transporters details are furnished. So they have put restriction on furnishing information part A only, not in part B. So suppose if either of consignor or consignee, suppose if consignor's GSTN is blocked, then consignor cannot furnish information in part A. Not only consignor, consignee, transfer, e-commerce operator, no one can furnish the information part A if only consignor's GSTN is blocked. Suppose if consignee GSTN is blocked and consignor is not blocked, then also no one can furnish information in parties. That's why they have said in bracket they have written including this. So they have put the restriction on everyone, even if only one, even if just consignor's registration means GSTN is blocked, then also no one can furnish information in part A, means no one can, means in that case e-waybill can't be generated. Okay, but in suppose take another example. In that case, suppose transporter's GSTN is blocked, though transporter is not required to take GST registration, even if suppose after that also, though is not required, then also he has taken registration, and if his registration is blocked, his GSTN is blocked, then there is no restriction, means then transporter's details is required to be furnished, and transporter details will be furnished in part B, because they have not given restriction in part B. There is restriction only in part A. And if either consignor or consignee GSTN is blocked, then part A information can't be furnished, and if part A information can't be furnished, then part B also can't be completed, then GST means e-waybill also can't be generated. So this situation arises only when either consignor or consignee or GSTN of both of them are blocked. And when such situation arises, when the person paying tax under composition scheme has not furnished, means if the registered person is under composition scheme and that registered person has not paid the self-assessed tax for 2 consecutive quarters. 2 consecutive quarters means first or second quarter, second, third quarter, and that way. If suppose they have made the payment for first quarter, means if they have not made the payment for first quarter, suppose, and if they have made the payment for second quarter, and again if they have not made the payment for third quarter, then that is not covered over here, because they have said 2 consecutive quarters. Or second one is a person paying tax under regular scheme has not furnished, if suppose a registered person is under the regular scheme and he has not furnished the return for 2 consecutive months, or if the person is paying tax in a regular scheme has not furnished GSTR1, that is statement of outward supplies, for any 2 months or quarters as the case may be, quarterly return or monthly return according to the turnover 1.5 crores they are saying. So if any of the 3 default occurs, then in that case no person shall be allowed to furnish the information in part A of form GST EWB 01, because as I have explained, that is only the reason. Now one relaxation is over here. However, commissioner may, on receipt of an application from a registered person in prescribed form, on sufficient cause being shown and for reasons to be recorded in writing by order in prescribed form, allow furnishing of the said information in part A of form GST EWB 01, subject to prescribed condition and restrictions. Okay. Now these all three, any of them, means out of these 3 scenarios, if due to any of the scenario GST of consignor or consignee, anyone's GST is blocked, and due to that no one is able to furnish the information in part A, and because of this e-waybill can't be generated, and if e-waybill is not generated, then movement of goods is also not possible. Supply can be made, but movement of goods can't take place without e-waybill. And this restriction is not applicable in those cases where e-waybill generation is not mandatory. Okay, this restriction applies only in those cases where e-waybill generation is mandatory. Okay, so if such scenario exists, and if if requisition is made to commissioner by the applicant, means by the registered person in prescribed form on sufficient cause, and if the commissioner is satisfied, then he can allow furnishing of the said information part A, and then e-waybill can be generated easily. Okay, but it may happen that commissioner may reject the order also. So an order rejecting said request shall not be passed without giving the said person a reasonable opportunity of being heard. Means if commissioner is rejecting the order, means rejecting the request of registered person of furnishing information in part A, then he'll reject his request only after giving a reasonable opportunity of being heard. That's given the permission granted or rejected by Commissioner of State Tax or Commissioner of Union Territory Tax shall be deemed to be granted, or as the case may be rejected by the Commissioner. Same thing, if this permission is granted or rejected as per as per SGST or UTGST, then it shall be deemed to be granted as per CGST in that way. If it is granted or rejected as per the by the Commissioner of State Tax or Union Territory Tax, then it will be deemed to be granted or rejected by the Commissioner. Okay, this was the new amendment. So this completes our amendment on chapter 11.